Now, the search and also the support for Maleah Davis was not only just in Houston, Texas, but it spread around the world. I mean, people on social media was talking about Maleah Davis. They even created Facebook groups to find Maleah Davis. I mean, it went all the way overseas for the search of Maleah Davis. Now, I'm not talking about finding her body overseas. I'm talking about people supporting her name and also trying to find Maleah Davis.
Type Maleah Davis in Facebook and you'll find dozens of opportunities to discuss the case.
We've been receiving members, joining the group from Australia, from the United Kingdom.
People with no connection to Houston joining Facebook groups dedicated to the disappearance of a 4-year-old girl. Jonathan Riches, who's in Florida, created this one.
We created the group last week. There was about a few hundred people that joined. We're now at approximately about 10,000 members. They mostly flooded in over the weekend when the searches were going on.
From prayers to perspective, people share so much information online.
The future, especially when you combine all social media platforms and people can dump the information into a particular group on this particular topic.
Social media is becoming the place to sound off.
It's almost like in real time where people are posting information and updates about this particular case.
Just because it's on Facebook doesn't mean it's true. So look for info from credible sources like KHOU and police. More than 200 people joined Jonathan's page in just 4 hours.
It touches a lot of people's hearts.
After all support, hoping, praying, and wishing for the finding of Maleah Davis, she has finally been found, but not in a way that everybody was expecting her to be found. People were expecting for her to be found alive and well, but instead, she was found deceased inside of a trash bag in Fulton, Arkansas, in a wooded area off of Interstate 30. What a shame.
And good afternoon. Deep down, we all knew it was probably her, and today the medical examiner confirmed it. Those human remains found in Arkansas on Friday are those of Maleah Davis.
For viewers who have the KHOU 11 mobile app, we sent you a notification this morning breaking this story.
Investigators are still looking into exactly how the 4-year-old died.
Tonight, we are working to answer many of the questions you are posting on our social media pages, including whether Derion Vence, Maleah's stepfather, will face more charges. Remember, he told community activist Quanell X that he dumped Maleah's body in that Arkansas field.
Marcelino Benito talked with our legal expert about building a case against Maleah's stepdad, who is charged with tampering with her corpse so far. Marcelino?
Guys, so far those charges have not been upgraded to murder, but our legal expert says now that we have Maleah's body, it is only a matter of time. 3 days after a child's remains were found on the side of an Arkansas highway, we now know for certain it is 4-year-old Maleah Davis.
It's going to get worse and worse for him.
KHOU legal expert Gerald Tree says having Maleah's body helps prosecutors build a tougher case against Maleah's stepdad, Derion Vence.
I'll give you a guarantee. That child didn't kill herself and didn't carry herself to Arkansas. The government will charge probably first-degree murder and ask for the death penalty. It'll be a capital murder case.
For now, the DA's office says Vence remains charged with tampering with a corpse, in a statement adding additional charges will be filed as the evidence supports doing so. Investigators were able to find Maleah's remains after Quanell X met with Vence in jail. Quanell says he confessed that Maleah was dead, that it was an accident, and where he dumped the remains.
If I'm a defense lawyer, first line of defense is to throw that statement out.
Tree says if Quanell went into the jail to speak to Vence after a request from police, then it could be excluded from a trial because it wouldn't be considered a voluntary statement. Our legal expert says he's also watching if others will be charged in this case, likely for helping Vence cover up Maleah's death. Police say someone dropped Vence off at Methodist Hospital as a part of his concocted story the night Maleah was first reported missing.
I have a lot of emails coming into me from viewers wondering about the mother. How much complicity is the mother involved in this?
HPD Chief Art Acevedo released a statement today in part saying, "We are saddened by the confirmation of the identification of the remains. However, we are heartened by the fact this sweet child can now receive the proper burial she deserved. HPD will continue to work to ensure the person or persons responsible for her death and the attempted cover-up are held accountable to the fullest extent of the law." Bottom line, Tree says investigators and prosecutors work to get justice for Maleah is far from over.
My condolences go out to the friends and also the family members of Maleah Davis, because the way that she lost her life was completely tragic and also sad. Now, after everybody was praying and, putting their time and their energy in this case, everybody at the end of the day got a slap in the face. On down to the family members, on down to everybody that had any type of investment in this case. Sleepless nights, the stress, the pain, the heartbreak, all to give this man 40 years in prison. 40 years in prison. No, they did not give him life in prison without the possibility of parole. No, they did not give him the death penalty, but they gave him 40 years. How sick and how disgusting. So now he will have a chance to get out of prison and walk amongst us that's civilized, amongst the free. But he took the life of a 4-year-old girl. And the reason he said that he took her life was because when the mother went out of town, she was crying for her mother. And he got upset and he hit the girl in her head. Matter of fact, he was beating her in her head. And that caused her to pass out and have a seizure, and she died.
40 years does not equal what she suffered and what she went through.
Quanell X says Vence confessed to him 2 years ago that he hurt Maleah.
He got angry at Brittany, and when the baby kept asking him about Brittany, he struck Maleah in the head. He punched her in the head. When she fell, she began to convulse, I believe having a seizure, and she was bleeding from her ears and bleeding from her nose. And at that point is where he strangled the beautiful young baby. He killed her because of the decomposition of the body and how long her body had been out in that field and the elements. The medical examiner's office never would have been able to prove with science to a T the actual cause of death.
This man hit this 4-year-old because she wanted her mommy. Mommy did not take her with her at all. Mommy knew exactly what was going on. Mommy said that she knew that Derion Vence took the life of her 4-year-old daughter. And the reason that she did not turn Derion Vence in was because she did not want to see him go to jail.
Quanell X says Maleah's mother knew about prior abuse to Maleah by Vence.
Did you help cover it up? And she started crying. And she said, yes, he didn't want to go to jail, and I didn't want to see him go to jail.
So the whole time she knew exactly what he did, trying to cover things up. How sick and how sad. And they are going to give this man 40 years in prison? Why isn't the mother locked up? It don't make sense. It does not add up. He's the only one that has been charged in this case. 40 years. Still has a chance to walk free. So much for the justice system. And oh yes, I forgot to add this in on the first part. Craig Davis, the father of Maleah Davis, finally got to get his hands on Derion Vence. During a court hearing for his parental rights for his son, Craig Davis was present that day at court. And they said that they seen a big man there that day because Maleah Davis' father is pretty tall and he's big. So they seen the man over there enraged. He was hot. He was heated. He was upset. Thinking about what this man did to his daughter. Thinking about what he could have done to his daughter. And he got heated. So he did exactly what a upset father would do to him. He rushed over there and beat this man down very bad. He finally got to put his hands on Derion Vence. Now, everybody was trying to figure out what was going on. Of course, everybody understood why the father did that, because this man took your daughter's life. So everybody understood exactly why he did that.
Behind the doors of the 308th District Court this afternoon, Derion Vence, the only man charged in connection with the death of little Maleah Davis and then allegedly dumping her body in Arkansas, was set to relinquish his parental rights to Maleah's little brother, Cortland. But before court got started, a brawl.
The person who committed the murder is in cuffs sitting in there, and I don't know what's going on. It's a CPS day, apparently, in that courtroom. And I was sitting there, and somebody came in, and I thought it was the father. It was a big guy, bigger guy, and he ran across the room and started beating the dickens out of him.
Attorney Richard Tholstrup was in court for another case. He says Craig Davis, Maleah's biological dad, lunged toward Vence. Deputies quickly grabbed Davis and handcuffed him too. Because everyone involved in the Maleah Davis case are under a gag order, Davis would not talk to us this afternoon as he left court. But courtroom sources say Vence did not want to press charges against Maleah's dad. So Vence went back to jail. Davis went home, and witnesses are left with a story to tell.
Everybody agrees that whatever he got, he more than deserves. Okay, so even the people who were trying to quiet things down, I'm not saying the sheriff's deputies, but just any of the lawyers that are in.
So after he got done beating down Derion Vence, they asked Derion Vence, do you want to press charges on Craig Davis? He said no. So Craig Davis did not get arrested. He was able to walk away free, a free man. Very good. But in the midst of all of this chaos and confusion, it still would not bring the life back of Maleah Davis. If the father could trade all of that for his daughter's life back, being able to hug his daughter, watch her go to prom for the first time. Matter of fact, watch her graduate middle school for the first time, graduate high school, maybe even college, get married. I mean, this father is going to miss out on many milestones because you have a selfish, evil-hearted man that took the life of his daughter. How sickening. Rest in peace to Maleah Davis. And one more time, my condolences go out to the friends and the family members of Maleah Davis. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment and let me know exactly what you all think about this story. Rest in peace, Maleah Davis. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Until I see you all on another video, holla at you.